Some animals are strange, but they look like they were designed by someone just messing around. Before we dive into the weird and crazy, please subscribe to support our YouTube channel and turn on your notifications. Here are 10 of the weirdest animals ever discovered, and somehow, they're all real. 1. Thorny devil. Let's start in the scorching deserts of Australia. The thorny devil looks like a tiny dragon covered in spikes, and honestly, it kind of acts like one too. It lives in arid desert environments, where water is extremely scarce. So instead of drinking like most animals, it absorbs water through tiny grooves in its skin. It literally drinks through its body. When it comes to reproduction, females lay eggs in underground burrows, where the heat of the sand helps incubate them. Lifestyle-wise, it's slow, patient, and surprisingly picky. It feeds almost exclusively on ants, eating thousands per day. What makes it rare isn't just its look, it's how specialized it is. It thrives only in very specific desert conditions. It has a fake head on the back of its neck to confuse predators. Myth time. Locals once believed it was venomous because of its spikes. Looks dangerous, but it's completely harmless. 2. Saharan horned viper. Now let's move to the Sahara Desert. This snake looks like something straight out of a fantasy movie, with horn-like scales above its eyes. It lives in hot, sandy deserts, where it buries itself beneath the sand with only its eyes exposed. Reproduction. It lays eggs in the sand, letting the heat incubate them. Lifestyle. Ambush predator. It waits, completely still, then strikes in a split second. What makes it rare is its ability to sidewind, moving across sand without burning its body. It can disappear under the sand in seconds. There's also a long-standing myth that its horns are used to stab prey. Yup, not true. They're likely for protection and camouflage. 3. Saharan silver ant. Now here's where things get wild. This tiny ant lives in the Sahara, but it doesn't just survive the heat, it thrives in it. The Saharan silver ant is active during the hottest part of the day, when temperatures can exceed 60 degrees Celsius, 140 degrees Fahrenheit. Reproduction happens in underground colonies, like other ants, with queens laying eggs safely below the surface. Lifestyle. Fast. Very fast. It runs across the sand at incredible speeds to avoid overheating. What makes it rare is its heat-reflecting body, covered in tiny triangular hairs that reflect sunlight. Yup, it's basically wearing a natural mirror suit. Surprising fact. It holds the record as one of the most heat-tolerant animals on Earth. Scientists are studying it to develop better heat-resistant materials. 4. Antarctic icefish. Now let's flip from extreme heat to extreme cold. The Antarctic icefish lives in the freezing waters of the Southern Ocean. And here's the crazy part. It has no red blood cells. Yup, its blood is basically clear. Instead of hemoglobin, it relies on oxygen dissolved directly in its plasma, which works because the water is so cold and oxygen-rich. Reproduction involves laying eggs on the seafloor, often guarded by one parent. Lifestyle. Slow-moving, energy-efficient, perfectly adapted to freezing environments. What makes it rare is this completely unique blood system. No other vertebrate does this. Surprising fact. It also produces antifreeze proteins that stop its blood from freezing solid. 5. Leafy sea dragon. This one looks like it swam straight out of a fantasy painting. The leafy sea dragon lives in the coastal waters of southern Australia, blending perfectly with seaweed. Reproduction is where things get interesting. The male carries the eggs, attaching them to a special brood patch under his tail. Yup, Dad does the babysitting here. Lifestyle. Slow drifting, feeding on tiny crustaceans. What makes it rare is its incredible camouflage. It looks exactly like floating seaweed. Surprising fact. It doesn't have teeth or a stomach, it just sucks in food whole. There's a myth that they're fragile and helpless, but in reality, they're perfectly adapted survivors. 6. Vampire squid. Now let's head into the deep ocean. The vampire squid lives in oxygen-poor depths where most animals can't survive. Despite its name, it doesn't drink blood. Yup, total false alarm. It feeds on marine snow, tiny bits of organic debris drifting through the water. Reproduction is slow and unusual, with females able to reproduce multiple times over long periods. Lifestyle. Calm, energy-efficient, almost ghost-like. What makes it rare is its ability to survive in low oxygen zones. Surprising fact. Instead of ink, it releases a cloud of bioluminescent mucus to confuse predators. 7. Blobfish. Ah yes, the internet's favorite, ugly, fish. The blobfish lives in the deep waters off Australia and New Zealand. At that depth, pressure is extremely high. Its body is gelatinous, allowing it to float just above the seafloor without wasting energy. Reproduction involves laying eggs in nests, sometimes guarded by the female. Lifestyle. Minimal movement, just drifting and waiting for food. What makes it rare is its deep-sea habitat. Humans almost never see it alive. Surprising fact. It only looks blobby when brought to the surface. Down deep, it looks much more normal. Yup, it's not ugly, it's just out of its comfort zone. 8. Ii. Now into the forests of Madagascar. The ii is a type of lemur with a seriously unusual look, huge eyes, bat-like ears, and one very creepy finger. It lives in dense forests, climbing trees at night. Reproduction involves giving birth to a single baby, which the mother cares for extensively. Lifestyle: nocturnal, solitary, and highly intelligent. What makes it rare is both its appearance and behavior. It uses its long middle finger to tap on wood, listens for insects, and pull them out. Surprising fact: it's basically doing the same feeding technique as woodpeckers, but as a mammal. There's a major myth here. In some local cultures, the ii is considered a bad omen or symbol of death. Yup, which sadly has led to them being hunted. 9. Star-nosed mole. This one looks like something from another planet. The star-nosed mole lives in wet lowland areas in North America. Its nose is covered in 22 fleshy tentacles, packed with thousands of sensory receptors. Reproduction involves litters of multiple pups, raised in underground tunnels. Lifestyle: fast, active, and constantly searching for food. What makes it rare is its sense of touch. It has one of the fastest feeding responses of any mammal. Surprising fact: it can identify and eat prey in under a quarter of a second. Yep, blink, and you miss it. 10. Barreleye fish. And finally, one of the strangest fish ever discovered. The barreleye fish lives in the deep ocean, thousands of feet below the surface. Its most famous feature: a transparent head. Yup, you can literally see inside it. Its eyes are tubular and can rotate, allowing it to look upward or forward. Reproduction is still largely unknown due to its deep habitat. Lifestyle: slow, drifting, watching for prey above. What makes it rare is just how little we know about it. Surprising fact: its transparent dome helps protect its eyes while still letting it see through it. So yeah, nature didn't just get creative, it went completely off script. From ants that wear mirrors, to fish with antifreeze blood, to creatures with see-through heads. These animals remind us that the world is still full of mysteries. And here's the thing: many of these species are fragile. They depend on environments that are changing fast. So protecting them isn't just about saving animals. It's about protecting the weird, wild, and unbelievable diversity of life on Earth. If you enjoyed this journey into the strangest corners of nature, stick around. Because trust me, it only gets weird.